Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, a great discussion with Tom Letizia and Bradley Mayer. They're here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Aaron Ford's high-flying travel has caught the attention of nonpartisan investigators on the Nevada Ethics Commission. Ethics officials are examining $35,000 in luxury trips taken by Ford, largely paid for by corporations his office regulates. The investigation also includes allegations Ford leveraged his position for personal gain, accepted gifts, and improperly used government resources. High-flying Aaron Ford. Luxury travel, special interest perks, too much baggage to be governor.
You'll be rolling with some swag during the $150,000 Spring Bling giveaways at Tamarack Casino. Make it rain with up to $5,000 in cash every week and 20 large in cash guaranteed during the grand finale drawing. We're blinging in your good times at Tamarack Casino.
2025 is bringing big changes for Nevada businesses. If you have more than 5 employees and have been operating for 3 years or more, you must now comply with new state retirement plan mandates. The Vegas Chamber 401k plan makes it easy, offering a proven, customizable, and cost-effective plan for employers and employees to save with tax advantages. Visit vegaschamber.com to explore options and see how the Vegas Chamber can help you start saving for your future.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
It happens. And when it does, there's UMC Quick Care.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, come to you from the Aaron Hotel. I'm very excited. We've got a great panel here. Tom Letizia is here, the political consultant and PR executive, and Bradley Mayer, partner with Argentum Partners. Pleasure to have you both here. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks.
So the first question I have, and I'll throw it to you, Bradley, is the independents. Do we know how the independents are going to move? Are they with the independents? Are they Democrats and Republicans that were signed up as independents? That's a huge number.
Sure. Well, now, in Nevada, we now have over 40% of the electorate are registered independents who are growing daily. And so independents really have an ideology, not a party affiliation. We're talking moderate, liberal, conservative. And it takes campaigns need to use data modeling really to figure out where those different segments of independents lead. They all will have that. And I think also, they're willing to be ticket splitters, right? And this is Nevada. We are, a purple state, right? People walk in voting for all different parties. That's what you have. And so I think the story in Nevada, of course, the last couple of years has been the rise of the independent voter. And I think that this election, appealing to those voters is a huge focus of a lot of keep-ins.
Tom? Well, I think the nonpartisan voter is generally fed up with politics. They're fed up with the Republican Party. They're fed up with the Democrat Party, the nonsense that takes place within both parties. It's equally divided between the two parties. They're constantly bickering over everything. You can't get things done in Washington. You can't get things done in Carson City. And I think a lot of the nonpartisan voters have chosen to be nonpartisan because they've had it. They've had it with politics. They just want to see government function. They want to see the job get done. And I think that's why we're seeing so many people. And a lot of it is the default at the DMV. And I think that's a big issue, though, this election. And I'm representing a nonpartisan candidate in that District F race, Becky Harris. And, we're banking on the nonpartisan voters to go nonpartisan without going with the politics. And I think because of the dissension right now with the two parties, the two Republicans beating each other up and the two Democrats beating each other up. I think a lot of them are getting fed up with all of this, and they just want to see good government.
You know, obviously money in politics is a huge deal. But there's this vast middle that is becoming a silent majority, and they want to be heard, but they don't know how to be heard. How do we get people, and do we want to get people back to the middle?
Well, I think that, a lot of races are decided in the primary election. And so there's a lot of, focus then for several of these races, primary only. And your most partisan voters are voting primaries. And so that middle section necessarily might not be doing it. And then by the time you get to a general election, the race is pretty much over because there's so many more, of one party over the other party that the math just can't math for that to be a competitive general election. And so I think it's an indication, the nonpartisan registration is an indication of people wanting to gravitate back towards that. And I think that's what you see in terms of ticket splitting. The nonpartisans are willing to, they're moved on issues and they're moved on candidates and campaigns around those issues and willing to be ticket splitters.
And I think, I'm definitely a ticket splitter. I mean, I'm voting for the issue of the person that makes the most sense. Isn't that what everybody should be doing?
I think so. And I've always voted for the person, Democrat or Republican. I've voted for equally amount of Republicans as Democrats. I just want what's good for our state and what's good for our city and our county. And whether they're Democrat or Republican really makes no difference to me. I just want to see good government. But Bradley brings up a good point. That's why we see these primaries get skewed with the far left or the far right, because those are the ones that go out and vote in low turnout primaries. When you have a 20% turnout, it's going to be the party folks that really dominate in those races. And that's why a lot of them can't win general elections, because they can't appeal to the middle, the moderate Democrats or the moderate Republicans. So I think you're going to see the same thing this election cycle. And the question is, how do you get back in the center? Because that's where good government takes place, right in the center.
I moderate debates for pretty much anybody who asks me to come along. And sure, I don't care if they're Republicans or Democrats or whatever. And I'm flattered that they would ask me to come in. One of the things that I learn is who these candidates are. And, you see a name is appealing. People look at the ballot, they go down. And if they don't know who the candidates are, well, I like Joe Smith, sounds like a great name. I think I'll vote for him. You go to these functions and some of the people are very smart and some are downright scary. But yet the general public does never get to see this. How do we change that? Because the media essentially either doesn't care about politics or is falling apart.
Well, most people.
By the way, Joe, thank you for your show and bring it back, by the way. Your radio show is great.
I was on it a couple times.
Sam was on it, and I had a great time doing it, and I do miss it. But, this is my political year, election year. But I will go back next year. The owner of the station told me, he said, I want you back, in your same time slot. But, and I got to talk to so many great people. You, Sam, Bradley, all of our county commissioners, all of our city council members. And it was great because I really found that these government officials really do care. We like to bad rap politicians all the time, and that's just the way our system works. But every one of the ones that I spoke to really cares about helping their constituents and doing a good job. Every once in a while, you're going to find one that's got a big ego trip and they're out for themselves and they're looking to benefit in the political system. But most people that throw their hat in the ring and decide to get into politics are decent people, and they do care. So I wish we could get away from the name calling and all of the negative campaigning. Of course, Bradley and I use a lot of that in campaigns. I mean, I will say that. But we never make anything up.
Yes.
That's for sure. If we have something that the public needs to know and we've got documentation, then we're going to go with it because we think it's important that the public learns about these things, about this particular person. But some of this stuff they just make up. And today with AI and all the technology, you don't know what to believe anymore. And I think it's got out of hand.
It has gotten out of hand, but it's not new. I mean, truthfully, you can go back to Greek and Roman times and refine things that were just done. Yeah. And not only was it as bad back then, but they were stabbing people in the hallways.
Right. They were shooting them.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, literally.
Yeah. Well, in Nevada, we had duels here. But I mean, the Roman emperors were getting stabbed in the hallways. So none of this stuff is new. Would open primaries help?
I do think that that's a solution. There was, of course, a ballot question a couple of years ago addressing that along with ranked choice voting. There was a bill put in the legislature at the end of the legislature by Speaker Yeager that would have implemented a open primary where independents could declare. They could ask for a Republican ballot or a Democrat ballot. But I think that given where we at in Nevada with over 40% as registered nonpartisans, I think it's time to I think an open primary would be helpful in that regard. But that's got to have to be an action of the legislature or ballot initiative.
I like the idea of open primaries, even though and for better or worse, and I thought he did actually a good job. That's how you got Arnold Schwarzenegger as governor in California. I don't like ranked choice. It seems to be so complicated.
That's right.
That the average person is going to be offended by whatever happened.
That was the big problem, is people just didn't understand it. It was too confusing for everyone. The concept is good. The concept makes sense. But now look at California right now. You've got, you're going to have two that will go on. And generally, California being as heavily Democrat as it is, it's very rare that a Republican can make the cut and make it to the final two. Now,
it may be the final two.
Yeah, and they do have a candidate that could make it this cycle ever since Swalwell dropped out. But I think I don't like the system. I like the traditional system of how we elect, our leaders. And I think that the concept is good, but I think it needs to be improved.
I mean,
yeah, I think that what's on the table probably for Nevada is an open primary. I think if there's any state in the country that has its demographics situated with really a third in terms of its registration, it's the state. But these things are hard to change. It's hard to change a long time. But look, we have open primaries already in Nevada, is what I like to say. All of our city council, school board, board of regent, and all these different races are open primary elections. And so I've spent most of my career actually working in open primaries and seeing really the implications of it in terms of how you campaign, to everybody. And you're really talking to everybody and trying to build, a majority of the vote amongst everyone.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back much more with these two. It's a great discussion. We'll be right back after this timeout.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Meet Nevada HealthLink, Nevada's official health insurance marketplace. Your link to savings, selection, free assistance, and name brand health insurance, where 90% of enrollees lower the cost of their monthly premium. Everyone deserves access to quality health coverage, no matter your income or family size. Visit NevadaHealthLink.com. A few minutes could save you hundreds of dollars per month.
Nevada HealthLink. Our plans are made for your plans.
A power line is more than a power line. It's maintaining the bottom line for small businesses. It's keeping the assembly line moving for our workforce. For our brightest minds, it's meeting a deadline. It's on the front line with our heroes. And on the sidelines of the biggest games. It's a direct line to our loved ones. And it's a lifeline for the most vulnerable. There's a lot on the line.
We're the Peters family, 2 combat veterans, our daughter Elle, and our Liberty Dogs puppy in training, Cooper. Cooper will grow up to be a life-changing companion to a veteran with visible or invisible challenges.
We're helping Cooper build focus and confidence so he's ready to support his veteran.
And we know he will help bring happiness and independence to his veteran's life.
So join us, become a puppy raiser, and change lives, one puppy at a time.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Bradley Mayer. He's a partner with Argentum Partners, and Tom Letizia is the political consultant and PR executive, and my former partner in Tonopah Radio a long time ago.
Oh, wow. Yes. We built that station during the MX missile crisis, or when we were talking about building that project, and Sig Rogich, Michael Callahan, and myself built the station. And of course, the MX missile system never happened. So Tonopah didn't become the boomtown that we had hoped it would be. But we made it, we got through, and it was fun.
And I was your weatherman.
Yeah, that's good. KIME TV too.
Yes.
Up in Reno.
Right.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about back to politics here, the governor's race. It's been very interesting to watch, and this program has benefited from not only the governor's campaign spending money very early, but two PACs that support the governor very early. Strong attacks against the attorney general, who's, of course, running against him for governor. But from the people I'm hearing that are out walking, they don't seem to feel that the public is very aware of Aaron Ford's travel schedule.
I think that race would be much closer if it weren't for the declining numbers of Donald Trump right now. I mean, Donald Trump is hitting in the high 30s, and it's affecting the race. I think you have a race where it could have been a 6, 7, 8-point race in favor of Joe Lombardo. Now we're hearing polling numbers where the race is almost even. I think Joe Lombardo has done a good job. I think he will probably win his reelection, but a lot depends on what happens over the next 6 months, 7 months with what's going on in Iran right now, what's going on with gas prices. Will Trump find a way to get out of Iran? I think that's a big issue right now. We're still not out of there, and gas prices are still up, and there's no end in sight. So until we get a resolution overseas right now in Iran, in the Middle East, I think that's going to affect Joe Lombardo. And I think those numbers could be affected by Trump's lower polling numbers.
Okay, you want to dive into that one?
Well, I would say if you analyze the Nevada governor's race and really take a step back, right? So, of course, A.G. Ford has been on the ballot statewide, twice. Who was Senate Majority Leader before that, very, very well known and around the state. When Joe Lombardo won in 2022, there were 65,000 more Democrats than Republicans about in Nevada. Now I think there's a couple thousand. I mean, last time I looked, it was 5,000 more Republicans than Democrats. And so that dynamic is flipped. No question. National atmospherics matter, of course. There still is a kind of a political eternity, however, from where we are today in April to September, right? When things a lot can happen between then, in both ways. But I think another interesting dynamic of this race is that there is no U.S. Senate race on a ballot this year. There will be next year. There's, of course, no presidential race. So it means the outside spending by the parties in Nevada is not what it would be when you have those going on. And so, of course, the governor has a pretty sizable cash on hand advantage and is using it.
But at the same time, just to throw this in, A.G. Ford has built strong relationships with national organizations, and I fully expect for them to come in and be a part of this race. I mean, they're holding on to their cash at this point in time because it's so early in the race, but I expect them to come back. The question I wanted to get to was polling. How much faith do you have in polling these days? Polling companies still poll, but who's answering the phone?
Well,
a lot.
Bradley and I talk about this all the time, every election, and we've worked on several campaigns together, and our clients are always questioning, the polling information. Look, a poll is a snapshot in time. If I go out and do a poll today, that's what I'm going to get. I'm going to get the mood of the public today, assuming that I weigh the poll properly. You know, if I go out and get a poll and it's heavily skewed Democrat, and we, as Bradley mentioned, our registration numbers are almost even, I've got to weigh that poll, and I got to make sure that it's balanced so that it's not heavily skewed one way or the other. And that's the art of polling, is to say, well, what's the turnout going to look like on election day? Will it be as registration reflects, or will it be skewed heavier Democrat or heavier Republican? Because I can tell you this, if you've got good polling and you're tracking a race from day one until the end, you can just look at who's showing up at the polls and you know exactly how your candidate's going to do, pretty much. Because once you started tracking those numbers, you created a trend. And if you've got good polling, and we'll do 10 or 15 polls during an election, and they stay pretty consistent, you know, if something bad happens. But, you know, Bradley mentioned, or you mentioned, Sam, about are people really hearing about Attorney General Ford and his travel? I don't know how that's resonating. The campaigns know. They've asked that question in their polling. They know what the real number is, but I don't know how it resonates with the public. You know, there's so many things right now, and the public has a difficult time on what they're going to believe. You know, what penetrates with the public? Because they hear so much nonsense that they don't know what's really true or not. So I don't know how that issue resonates. There's a number of issues. I think they can throw a lot of things at Lombardo because of what Trump's doing. I'm not sure how much of an effect Lombardo has on gas prices, quite frankly, but the Democrats are using that against him. So, you know, the public has to make a decision at the end of the day, and they've got to listen to CNN, they've got to listen to Fox News, and then they got to go somewhere in the middle and find the answer.
And that's a lot of work.
And the way we do has a lot of, we have a way of doing exit polling when we're in our race. So I would say Tom and I are oftentimes the only two guys in the room that don't know or that aren't surprised about what happened on election night because of how we sort of exit poll. And so it's very accurate for us. And I think by and large, I think you've seen that polls, you know, in Nevada is typically very difficult to poll. However, I think you've seen the last couple cycles, they've been pretty on. They haven't really been off, and everything has generally been close because of the nature of the party registration at the independents.
And I would just throw in that, you know, as I follow ratings in Nevada, where we have, especially in Northern Nevada, a very loose system of paper diaries, things like that, you have to look at the consistency. So that makes sense to me, that the consistency of your polling is matched by the consistency of ratings over the years. A radio station is polling at number 1 for 20 years and suddenly comes in at number 8. I'm not taking that for real. Let's take another break and we'll be right back.
At Nevada Urban Indians in Reno, your health is our priority. Our medical clinic welcomes everyone. We accept all insurances, ensuring quality care is within reach. Nevada Urban Indians, your partners in health.
Welcome to the Ahern Hotel, where bold ambition meets unforgettable experiences. Feel your game day vibes and celebrate with great food at All American Sports Kitchen, serving amazing flavors and fan favorites. Sip and savor at Aroma Barista Bar. Handcrafted coffee roasted to perfection. Step into the Ahern Live showroom, where concerts, comedy, and unforgettable performances light up the night. We also have the David Yule Art Gallery. It's the only one in the world, and his work is breathtaking. Browse the gift shop. It's a treasure trove of keepsakes, chic essentials, and one-of-a-kind finds. And the space. Almost 30,000 square feet of meetings and events areas ready for you. From weddings and birthdays to quinceañeras, trade shows, banquets, and beauty pageants. Bigger ideas? Let the Ahern team handle all the details so your event is flawless. Ahern Hotel, where moments become memories. Book your next gathering today.
The trucking industry is the most resilient link in the supply chain, moving 95% of our freight in the Silver State. And while essential, the road isn't always smooth. Supply chain disruptions, rising fuel costs, and unrealistic rules and laws that hamper our ability to serve our customers and country. Our prosperity and every sector of the economy, manufacturing, mining, medicine, and food from farm to table, is tied to trucks. There's nothing without trucking.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Tom Letizia, the political consultant and PR executive, and Bradley Mayer, partner with Argentum Partners. So here's the real key is, do we see any kind of strong youth vote in this election cycle? That's the part.
We always say that, we always say, we got to get the youth out. We got to get the youth out. The young people got to start voting. And it seems like every election, it's the people that are over 60 that dominate the polls. And we got to motivate the youth without question. They got to get more active in politics. I think a lot of our youth is very disenchanted with this system.
And they're all nonpartisans by and large, over 50%.
Yeah, and they feel that nothing gets done.
Okay, and also, because we're running out of time here, quite a lot of anti-establishment because of the war.
Yeah.
And because of data centers, which is crazy when you look at the reality of those. Gentlemen, I apologize we're out of time. I love having you here. You both come back and join us anytime you want.
Of course, thanks so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, and we'll be right back.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
You're in trouble with the law. It's easy to think you'll lose everything, but there is hope. I'm attorney Orrin Johnson. Your first step is to hire a serious attorney with the experience to successfully navigate the legal system for you.
Sometimes hope means addiction treatment instead of jail, and making sure you're treated fairly.
Sometimes hope means fearless trial attorneys will stand up to the government when they get it wrong. Call or text Orrin Johnson Law.
We'll make a plan.
You'll take back your life.
Welcome to Story County, where history meets innovation and a pioneering spirit continues to shape our future. At the heart of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, we power the future with global leaders in technology and manufacturing, driving progress that reaches far beyond our county lines. From advanced manufacturing to tech innovation, our industries are creating thousands of quality careers, fueling a vibrant economy that benefits every Nevadan. Our community is our foundation. Be part of a legacy built on bold ideas and boundless possibilities. Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers coming to you from the Ahern Hotel in Las Vegas. We'll see you on the next broadcast.